Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical, or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/tech time. Again, that's turbodebt.com/tech time, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of Tech Time Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation, from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mum, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense and humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, a little whiskey on the side. We are live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter/X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. I'm Nathan Mum, your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. Today in studio, we have my co-host Mike Roday and Marc Gregoire. Mike is an award-winning author from Arizona. He's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike's here to help me keep from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. And Marc Gregoire is our whiskey connoisseur and a senior executive with a 30-year record of establishing, implementing, and refining cutting-edge solutions to address business needs and optimize opportunities in the print business. He's a skilled whiskey drinker and is our go-to pick-of-the-day experts. We are friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mum, ChatGPT can hear, see, and talk, which is pretty scary. Talking about scary subjects, let's talk about Elon Musk's startup Neuralink seeks people for brain implant trials. James Riddle, our Tech Time medical technologist, has a few thoughts to share on this, and he's going to be back with a couple other great ideas that we're going to be talking about. And then we have a new area with Getty's AI Imaging. It's a library of human-made photos. We're going to be talking about that. And there's more strikes in Hollywood as video game actors vote yes on authorization to do a strike. This was an interesting area that I didn't even know existed until this morning when I woke up.
This morning?
Yep, this morning I did not know that there was a whole actors guild just for people that are participating in video games, and so it's going to be an interesting story. So
yeah, we don't really think about stuff like that. We just want the product. Gimme, and who cares about everything else?
For everything else. And do you know what? There's tons of. Well, you got the story, so I don't want to.
I'll talk about it.
Okay. In addition, of course, we have Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and a Nathan Nugget. And of course, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercial to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. Odie is out, so we got Nathan Miller behind the board, so he always has his little expertise on whiskeys also, so that'll be kind of exciting. So we'll have like 4 connoisseurs today tasting the whiskey to give it his feedback.
You are not a connoisseur. and neither am I.
Okay, so
we just taste it.
So we have a connoisseur.
We have a connoisseur and another connoisseur.
And so Miller's kind of a connoisseur.
And then a you and then a me.
Yeah, and we just like everything. That's
we are not.
We're not the experts.
We're not the experts.
I'll just tell you, when we started the show, you know what? We were
We've learned a lot about it.
We have, and we were worried that we would run out of alcohol. Let me just tell you,
you were worried.
I was. For whiskey in itself, we have another 3 to 4 years just on shelves that I have at home ready to go of whiskey to taste.
I know. And then in our original versions, we were tasting 3 to 6?
No, it was 3. It was 3 per episode.
We were taking 3 whiskey. Yeah.
And then if we filmed back to back, in the good old days, we'd film back to back episodes. Now we're letting in on a little secret. So we'd film episode 1, and then episode 2 we'd film exactly at the same time. Keep it kind of generic on what we did.
Those were the blurry days. I don't remember those days very well.
We would have 6 shots of whiskey.
We would have no.
6 shots of whiskey.
Right. Yeah, we would have 6 by the time we were done.
All right. Okay. Now it's time for our latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, Miller's 1 for 1. There we go. All right.
Okay.
OpenAI has enabled ChatGPT to see, hear, and speak. Now let's go to Ellie Harrison for more on the story.
OpenAI has enabled ChatGPT to see, hear, and speak. You can now speak to ChatGPT, and it will talk back. ChatGPT's voice capability is powered by a new text-to-speech model, capable of generating human-like audio from just text and a few seconds of sample speech. OpenAI teased how this new feature can request a bedtime story for your family or settle a dinner table debate. The new features will roll out in the app within the next 2 weeks for paying subscribers of ChatGPT's Plus and Enterprise services. The updates from OpenAI come amid an ongoing AI arms race within the tech sector. Initially spurred by the public launch of ChatGPT late last year, AI industry experts stated, while Amazon and Google are just about to compete with the ChatGPT, OpenAI takes another leap forward. This is like a space race with ChatGPT landing on Mars as others are just about to orbit the Earth. This is definitely something that will make everyone go,
All right.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. So
what are you doing, Dave?
That's exactly where we're at. So essentially, it's really funny is ChatGPT was starting to get some competition, and they have been like having this in the bag for a while now. Now everybody's starting to come on out and compete with them on the same level. And they say, okay, guess what we're going to release? We're going to release a whole new version that essentially it has essentially senses that are being built into it, where it can hear, it can see, and it can talk back directly to it. So think of this. If you're actually asking it to, as a part of their demo, they have a video of this where the ChatGPT person is asked to create a super duper sunflower hedgehog named Larry and create a story to narrate it with a human sounding voice. Essentially, this, with just those parameters, it created a 30-minute story that allowed people to then ask, what is the house like? Who is his best friend? Interacting like a choose-your-own-adventure. Think of this as like a choose-your-own-adventure storytelling where it makes up the items as it goes.
Choose-your-own delusion.
Okay.
Is this gonna be like the creepy way that like Alexa will start talking in the middle of like a show or something because something triggered it?
Well, so it's really interesting is now this is only going to be available in the next 2 weeks to ChatGPT Plus.
Yeah,
because they have, of course, they have a Plus.
They have a Plus
and an enterprise service, which is essentially $20 a month, as stated. But this is essentially now competing with Amazon's Alexa voice, who says Alexa was all pre-programmed text back and forth, and it really didn't have an AI database engine like ChatGPT has. But Amazon announced last week that it is working on creating an AI-powered Alexa voice assistant.
Of course they are.
So, my Alexa interrupts us sometimes when we're watching television, especially football. I don't know what it is, but in the middle of football, it'll start like playing music to something and something I'm watching the red zone, and it just gets interrupted all the time.
The only thing creepier than that is when like your Buzz Light, your kid's Buzz Light, your doll started talking in the toy box. That's the only thing that's creepier than Alexa.
Or the button would get pushed, or the batteries would get a little bit lower, and then just start going off.
Yeah, something like now we've. This is going to offer a lot of psychological studies because this is going to be weird.
This is going to be
because
weird.
there's going to be people that are just sitting around talking to their freaking ChatGPT all day.
And ChatGPT is clearly the leader, as was stated. One lands on Mars and the other one's going around the moon. So I mean, they're light years ahead of everybody else right now. And this is just going to be this is that Android creepy level where all of a sudden they're going to have a whole interaction with you. Yep.
Yep. They're going to.
All right.
2001.
That's right.
HAL 9000, baby.
We were just 23 years late, or so. Right?
HAL 9000 is
I know.
perfect.
There you go. All right, story number 2, buddy.
Wait, I want to talk about ChatGPT some more.
Oh, you do?
No.
Okay.
All right. So, anyway, just when you thought some of the Hollywood strikes were about to be over,
Yep.
Nope.
Nope.
Video game actors vote yes on a strike authorization.
I didn't even know there was video game actors.
Yeah, well, that's something you don't think about, but there's all those motion capture folks, and then the voice actors and everything. Not the regular voice stars that you would, I guess, normally.
So I guess like Toy Story. If you do Toy Story and Tom Hanks, that's probably an actor, not a video game actor, right?
I don't know that I don't know how that works in that, but anyway. SAG-AFTRA announced that the video game actors who have been bargaining for almost a year have agreed that now is the time to strike. Nearly 35,000 SAG-AFTRA members.
35,000 people do this?
Yeah, voted in favor of a strike authorization on the Interactive Media Agreement, the union reported last night.
Okay.
The Interactive Media Agreement covers members' work on video games, which includes voice acting and live-action capture. SAG-AFTRA announced the strike authorization over X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
They must have got in right before they had to pay for it?
Maybe they're paying... I don't know.
Or maybe they're paying for it.
I don't know. Pretty soon, all I have to do is talk to it, and then it'll do whatever it needs to do.
How many people actually are a part of this, though? I mean, like...
The signatory companies that use Interactive Media Agreement include Activision.
Okay, that's a biggie.
Blind Light, LLC, Disney Character Voices, Inc., Electronic Arts Production, Inc., Formosa Interactive, LLC, Insomniac Games, Inc., Epic Games, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and WB Games.
All right, so Electronic Arts and Take-Two. That's
Take-Two's
my NBA game
ones.
I have.
Yeah, these are a lot of the big ones.
And you got Madden and you got FIFA and Psycho.
I don't know what you're always talking about that stuff. I don't play those games.
All right.
These companies.
So what are they going to have now? A little Android out there that just runs in the field?
I don't know. They got ChatGPT to do everything now, so why don't they just hire him?
All right, Keith.
Yeah, these companies have been bargaining with SAG-AFTRA since October of 2022 and haven't come anywhere near to a fair deal. Now, I don't know what a fair deal means, but obviously that's what's keeping this from going forward. The pattern of negotiations for SAG-AFTRA include wages that keep going up with inflation, protections around exploitative uses of artificial intelligence, hint, ChatGPT, and basic safety precautions. Ray Rodriguez, the chief contracts officer for SAG-AFTRA, says the connections between the actors working for TV and film and actors working on video games, between the exploitive uses of AI and lagging wages, those who work in video games are facing many of the same issues as those who are working in film and television.
So they're trying to piggyback onto that, actors, I guess.
Well, I think this is all, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So the actors are getting a lot of notoriety. Let's throw it out. I mean, I did not know this existed until today.
Yeah, that's not a normal thing because we don't think in terms of
video game creation.
Who is doing these things? We, like I said, we consume the product, but we don't really like as a kid.
Yeah.
You go to Disneyland. You think of Disneyland as the magical kingdom.
Yeah.
And part of that magical kingdom is not realizing that those people that work there in those suits and the ride people and that they are fostering that illusion on you, but they are actually real people getting paid.
Yeah. Yep. No, I understand. As a little kid, I used to think all those characters were real.
And so it's not unusual for us to do that as adults.
Okay.
Like the DMV.
Like the DMV. How does that have to relate?
Everybody has these stories about trying to get through the DMV,
Okay. I don't, but okay, you're going to have to tell me off the air. What happens at the DMV? That's a licensing place.
Yeah, well, never mind. People think that robots work there.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, because the people just have no personality?
Shut up. Just move on to the next.
Okay. All right, story number 3.
We can talk about this later.
All right. Getty, the Seattle-based company, is taking a two-pronged approach to AI's threat and opportunity to its business. Let's go back to our own Tom Geiken for more on the story.
Nathan, this story comes to us from your own backyard. Photo giant Getty, formerly Getty Images, took a leading AI image maker to court, and now it's also embracing the technology in a strange turn of events. The Seattle-based company is taking a two-pronged approach to AI's threat and opportunity to its business. First, it sued a leading purveyor of AI-generated images earlier this year for alleged brazen infringement of Getty's image collection on a staggering scale. The difference, said Getty Images CEO Craig Peters, is this new service is commercially viable for business clients and wasn't trained on the open internet with stolen imagery. The new service, Generative AI by Getty Images, emerged from a long-standing collaboration with California tech company and chipmaker NVIDIA and its generative AI division Picasso. But the market has 2 other significant competitors ahead of them. Shutterstock has partnered with OpenAI's DALL-E. Adobe has also built its own AI image generator Firefly, which has received much praise for the price per photo and image selection. Getty's approach might not work as they are priced 4 to 10 times higher on images than its rivals. This is Tom Geekin reporting. Back to you in the studio.
All right, so this is kind
of...
So
they're suing one company for infringement, but then they're going to be using it to build their other businesses.
Yes. So I'm going to sue the person that I'm mad at, but then I'm going to use the technology. But what's different is we're actually going to use a collection of photography where essentially we're going to pay people up front to contribute to our AI model. And then what we'll do is as each person downloads a portion of that model being used in the AI, we'll pay a one-time fee and small residuals to each of those artists. So they're going to have artists come on in, make tons of pictures.
So you're a photographer. So Getty is saying that they're going to say, okay, we want you to take pictures of all these things.
Yep.
And then we're gonna pay you for all these things. And then we're going to use all these things in our AI to generate new works. And then every time one of these things is used by you, you're going to get a small piece of that.
A small piece of that. That is
like
what
a royalty.
A royalty, yes.
Okay.
But their pricing is already 4 times plus more expensive than the other 2 companies that are just using an open source deal to do the graphics themselves.
Yeah, they're basically doing what is the problem with all this stuff is that if you use AI to steal stuff off the internet, you can charge a lot less for it.
Correct.
And then if you use people, you still have to pay those people.
You still got to pay those
people. So, wow. It's really up in the air about what we should do. Well, should we let the AI steal stuff from the internet that's already out there, or should we actually pay creators for what they create?
Okay, well, this is like Peter's essentially with Getty saying that you couldn't just go into their images and ask for President Joe Biden on a surfboard, which you can in some of the other AI like Midjourney and some of these, and you'll get a President Joe Biden on a surfboard. Essentially, those will come back and say that it refuses the request to do that AI search. Or another example is people doing real world items with animated and different characters and licensing from like Disney and other type of areas. They would say, no, we don't have those ability to make like
that's because they're still following licensing types of requirements, right?
Yes. And then you would be able to be licensed on that. So if I get this AI generated item from them, now it doesn't say how long it's going to take. So I do think there'll be some time. I don't think this will be like an immediate 20 seconds later, boom, I'm spitting out something with maybe a character in 17 arms and 2 eyeballs and 4 mouths, that is incorrectly done, but spit out pretty quickly. I believe this will be more of an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour type process until you get the image back to be able to use it. So what would you use? Would you use the freebie version or would you go to Getty Images?
Well, I don't use these things, so I don't know. But the fact that these things exist and are basically scraping the internet for images and things, and somebody does not get credit for it, that's a problem.
Okay.
But what do we do? I mean,
it's kind of a dilemma.
We had talked about this from day one when ChatGPT released about this whole writing
before it became a fad.
This guy that wrote the book with ChatGPT and then tried to take credit for it.
He did.
Okay, that's
on Amazon, and then they shut him down.
Messed up.
And they only produced like 150 of those books.
Yeah,
I have one on my shelf.
Yeah, I know you do.
It'll be worth millions someday.
That is not going to be worth anything. But I mean, this is one of the ongoing problems with all these other strikes too. So I don't know. Maybe Getty's evidence, like they're going to sue everybody who's stealing their images, and then they're going to create their own AI to build images for them.
All right. Well, we're going to see what's going to happen. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, we have James Riddle, our medical expert, joining us for the next segment after the commercial break. You do not want to miss this segment, as we're going to be talking about Elon Musk's idea to turn us into people like the Matrix, essentially putting in computers into our brains and having devices that go into the back of our skulls into these computers themselves. What are James' thoughts on this and a couple other medical questions we have burning to ask him? Find out. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. We'll be back after this commercial break.
This is Marc
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner,
one of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers
or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives
and let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mum, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. Now we have Marc in studio to tell us what we are sipping today for our pick of the day. What have we chosen?
We have chosen Old Forrester 100 Proof Signature.
Okay. All right, tell us all about this.
Well, from the back of the bottle, it says, merely 150 years ago, my great-great-great-grandfather, George Galvin Brown, was the first to seal his bourbon in a glass bottle, ensuring consistency and exceptional quality. He felt so strong in his convictions that he signed his name to it. Today, I'm proud to add my signature as proof that our commitment to Old Forrester legacy lives on. That's from Campbell P. Brown. And Old Forrester says it's hand-picked from select barrels. Old Forrester 100 Proof is a rich, complex bourbon that brings flavors of ripe apple and other sweet fruit, baking spices such as clove or nutmeg, and toasted oak, while finishing sweet and light with hints of oak and apple that linger a bit longer.
Mm-hmm. But it still has a screw cap.
It does have a screw cap on that, and I'm not a big screw cap guy, so what's up with that?
Well, I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So the company is Brown-Forman. It's from the distillation as Old Forester Distilling Company in Louisville, Kentucky. Straight bourbon, non-age dated, but we know it has to be at least 4 years since it's straight bourbon. 100 proof, 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% barley, and it has cost you about $26 for the bottle, so therefore the screw top.
I don't know. I got some $26 stuff that comes in with a little cork on top of that. But I will say...
And were they thumbs up?
No. Well, not from us.
This is actually pretty smooth, though.
Anything that Nathan drinks is pretty much a thumbs up.
Wow. Not everything. I have some standards.
I bet you if we reviewed all of Marc's data, you would probably have the lowest percentage of thumbs down than
by far.
Yeah.
By far.
I kind of just like alcohol. I like alcohol. It's good.
This is just cheap. It was good.
Wow, this is cheap and it was good. Okay. All right. Well, do you have a special? Is it a special day today? Coming on up for our.
We have to wait.
Well,
I have to wait for that.
Our whiskey.
Yes. So think about it.
What is today? September 26th. I don't know.
It's got to be connected to the whiskey somehow.
I can't drive in the rain day.
Yeah, he really wanted this with Forresters or something. Okay, all right. Oh, well, that with our first whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our feature segment today with James Riddle joining the show. James is the Vice President of Research Services and Strategic Consulting at Advera. He has also served as the Association for the Accreditation of Human Research Protection Programs. James is an advocate for responsibility in medicine and research. But we know him, of course, as Tech Times medical and research expert in technology implementation. Let's get ready to start our Comcast video stream and our next segment.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts with our Tech Time radio expert, James Riddle.
All right, James, welcome to the show today. Where are you joining us from?
I am joining you from sunny Phoenix, Arizona today.
Oh, Phoenix, Arizona. Well,
stop rubbing that in.
Oh, there you go. That's right. It's Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, well, we had a little bit of rain up here in the Pacific Northwest, so of course we had 30-minute traffic for no reason, and then we just decided to look at the rain. All right, never mind. James, I'm glad that you got to move down to someplace nice and warm, and I'm still up here. But how are you doing? Welcome to the show. We are excited to be talking about Elon Musk's Neuralink chip. It's ready to embark on its first clinical trials. James?
Are you excited about that, James?
What, does that make you excited? What do you think about this study, and what does it entail?
Well, first of all, I am actually pretty excited for this because there are many examples of utilizing brain waves, brain connectivity to move and do different things in life. And if Elon Musk can figure out how to use a brain implant to help folks who are disabled, quadriplegics, others who are able to make the product move, make it go, more power to him. It wouldn't be the first implant that does certain things. It certainly will be the first one with Elon Musk attached to it, which does give it an extra little bit of street interesting conversation to it. Okay. But as far as the product itself, it's a neuro implant that reads electrical signals from your brain and translates it in the computer to do certain things.
All right. So how do you get in this trial? How do you get in the study about this? How would I do that if it, well, no,
go ahead. I'll ask my question in a second.
Okay. All right. So how do you get into this trial? So I was very curious because, it does have some interesting aspects. What do you do to get in a clinical study like this?
Okay. So first and foremost, this particular clinical trial, if you go to the Neuralink website, there is information about the trial, and you can, if you are meeting the eligibility criteria for the trial, you can express some interest, and I'm sure they'll reach out to you to see if you are interested in participating. What I think a lot of the folks in the media have missed is that eligibility for this trial is folks with quadriplegia, right? Like you have to have a pretty significant disability. You have to be 22 years old, and you have to have a consistent and reliable caregiver who can help you with the events in the trial. This is a very typical first-in-human exploratory clinical trial. It's designed to be completed over 6 years, so it's not like we're going to have results from the trial next month. And it's an 18-month clinical examination and then an associated amount of follow-up to make sure that the brain implant works properly, doesn't cause any problems with where it's implanted in the head, and then be able to test whether the thing works or not. But it's not open to everybody. Folks who want to come out of the woodwork with the tinfoil hats and try and get the implant, like, you can't do that. You have to meet the eligibility criteria.
So this is exclusively for medical purposes and not for, hey, I want to be able to walk into my house and turn on all the lights and TV just by thinking about it.
Not yet.
That's the way I believe Elon looks at it, is that he's looking at it as a way of interconnectivity to your virtual world.
Yeah, he may be. I don't know. I guess he probably couldn't get that approved of. So he's gonna actually.
Well, yeah, you got to start with the real stuff.
With the real stuff,
then we can get going with the other stuff.
We're sitting here in 2023 who would have imagined 5 years ago that we'd be talking about interacting verbally with a ChatGPT bot that's going to tell me a bedtime story with only a few sentences?
I don't know. We've been making movies about it for many years now.
There's that theory that all these movies, there's just people from the future and they just come on back and they sell these ideas to us.
No. This is an envisioning of an idea in a media situation, and then scientists going, "Hey, that's cool. We should try to do that."
All right, there you go. All right, so talking about the Neuralink brain chip, what does it? So fits into quadriplegics. I did not know that. So thank you for clearing it, because that is not the headline that is going across all the news wires right now. The headline is Elon Musk's neural chip is ready to embark on clinical trials, or are you going to get this other? So a little sensationalism in their advertising. Tell us, what does the brain chip actually do?
So my understanding of the way that the device works, and first of all, it is an investigational device. So if you're a regulatory wonk like myself, it has an investigational device exemption issued to it from the Food and Drug Administration, which gives Neuralink permission to experiment with the investigational unapproved device.
Okay, does that mean they can kind of go and do some sketchier things and to try it out? Or no, is that puts a lot more guidelines in?
A lot more guidelines. Neuralink is definitely treating this just like a device manufacturer would treat an investigational pacemaker or any other kind of implantable device that has software and different pieces running through it. The fact that it's Elon Musk and it's going in your brain makes it a little bit more sensational. But as far as the actual clinical investigation part, it's a fairly straightforward investigational device.
Okay.
The way that my understanding, the way that it works is you put the device in your head, they implant it, it makes electrical contact with your brain, and you can then utilize the device to train the device to do certain things, utilizing brain signals, which is a not terribly unproven way to manipulate computers or external limbs or things of that nature. If you go to some of the science centers around the country, you'll find this little brain that you put the cap on, and then you have to think to make the ball roll across the table. They have this at the Seattle Science Center. You sit across the table from another person, you both put the cap on, and you use your mental power to move the ball.
Oh, yeah. His Jedi dueling.
Exactly, yeah. And this neural implant has the same sort of idea to it, in that you would train your brain to manipulate the device to do certain activities. In this particular case, maybe it's to move your limbs around or execute an artificial leg or something. Or, 10 years from now, hey, Alexa, right? You don't even have to talk to her anymore. You can just think at her and she'll be able to turn your lights on for you.
Yeah, that'll be creepy. But presumably this is to span the gap of a severed spinal column, right? I mean, this is sort of the main thrust of this particular piece.
Yeah, I mean, just the possibilities for this kind of a device, whether it's Neuralink or whether it's Elon's company or something, the possibilities are staggering. That if you could imagine a quadriplegic who would get a prosthetic, a body-wide prosthetic that they could control with their mind through a Neuralink kind of device, you might have people who are walking again. They could utilize that entire body device to walk again.
Yeah.
Live normal, semi-normal lives. Be able to manipulate small activities with their hands and things of that nature.
All right.
Where right now there just is not anything like that yet.
So you know what? I'm glad we had James on, because I had a completely different idea of this.
I know you did.
And now we got the good information.
You were thinking like Lobot from Empire Strikes Back or something.
All right, moving on. Talking about drones here just real quickly, and then I got another question to ask you. I saw an article as I was going through today's topics. You wouldn't believe it. There was a lot of ChatGPT stuff and drone stuff.
No way.
But it says that drones are now being used to help the healthcare industry, and they're investing thousands of dollars into drones. Explain what is the idea thinking here on the healthcare industry regarding drones?
If you think about some of the challenges that exist with delivering clinical care, you've got challenges of geography, you've got challenges of time, distance. all of the same challenges that exist in delivering products exist in the medical field. So if you think about, I need to deliver this organ across town in the next 5 minutes while it's still viable. Well, if you put it in an ambulance and try and drive it across Manhattan, you're not going to make it. And so wouldn't it be awesome if you could put that organ into a drone, program it to go land on the helipad over at the hospital across the borough, and then it would land over there and the person could pick it up and go use it. Or picture remote communities in less developed areas of the world where it's really difficult to deliver medicines, particularly medicines that need to stay refrigerated or have a very short shelf life. If you can utilize drones to deliver that out into the field rather than putting it on a truck and driving a day through the bush in order to get the materials delivered, big potential there. In the same reason that other industries are looking at using drones to do package delivery or short areas. You can also use drones to be relay stations for high capacity throughput as far as internet connections. So you've seen on the commercials where folks can do remote surgeries. You got the doctor sitting in Seattle and they're doing surgery on somebody who is over in sub-Saharan Africa. Well, that takes a lot of bandwidth. So you could put those drones up and let them space and run the bandwidth in order to do the remote surgery. Pretty cool stuff.
Cool. All right. Last but not least, I've been reading some articles between ChatGPT's medical advice versus WebMD. Now, if you ever go to WebMD for anything that you have, essentially you're dying or you have cancer or you should already be dead. So I'm not a big fan of WebMD, but I am now seeing that people are using ChatGPT to help give them medical advice. What do you think of this, James? Is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea? Should we stick with WebMD? What should we do?
So I see some of you shaking your heads. My own personal opinion on this is WebMD is not medical advice. Okay. WebMD is a medical reference that is put together and curated by doctors, but it is not designed to take the place of going and seeing your primary care provider or a professional clinician. That being said, WebMD and other similar sites on the internet have really expanded the medical capabilities of the common person to understand what's going on with them. And so if you, for instance, you want to participate in Neuralink's clinical trial, you're going to get a consent form that has a whole bunch of side effects that are listed in there, potential side effects of putting an implant in your brain. And they're going to have some terms in there that you might not understand. And so if I'm thinking about enrolling in that study, I'm going to take that consent form home, and the first place I'm going to go is WebMD. And I'm going to Google the medical terms to be able to figure out what they are and how they might interrelate to me. Now, ChatGPT is utilizing the same internet-based resources that are available to it to consume to deliver a curated message based on what I've asked. So is ChatGPT really any better than WebMD? I don't know. I have to imagine that ChatGPT is consuming WebMD's content along with content from other medical sites, New England Journal of Medicine. It's scrubbing through medical journals in order to curate the response that comes back to it, kind of the collective wisdom of the internet. So I guess my response would be, do you want to get your research and your terms coming back from WebMD that has some actual doctor curating it? Or do you want the collective wisdom of the internet that has a bunch of different views and some of them might be a little sketchy?
I'm thinking don't use it to diagnose what you're coughing about.
No.
Okay? Because you know that's what people are going to do. They're going to ask ChatGPT, hey, have a cough and a fever, what's going on? And, it's going to tell us what's going on. Oh, you're having a heart attack right now.
That's right.
It's possible.
You should call your doctor.
And hopefully the folks over at OpenAI and others who are curating these ChatGPT bots will be astute enough to make sure that the bot will tell the person, hey, I'm not a doctor. You should probably talk to one.
See, that's where I have the hugest problem is that word astute enough, because that's the problem with these things.
Yeah. All right. Well, James, we are out of time, so I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. Hopefully we get you next month sometime here talking. We got some spooky stuff coming up with October, so that's always a great time to talk about some
October is a heavy drinking month.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much.
Make sure to check out Neuralink's first in human clinical trial site.
Okay.
It's easily findable on Google, and you can learn all about how the brain implant works and how to enroll for the next trials.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Thanks, James.
All right, Mike, that was a great segment. We thank James for being a part of the show. Only on Tech Time Radio can you get your technology news on the science of tomorrow with the technology of today. That ends our segment, Ask the Expert with James Riddle. Up next, we have This Week in Technology, so now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side. We'll see you after this break.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going all the way back to September 25th, 1973. The first personal computer is now 50 years old. Probably one nobody knows about because it was the microcomputer machines of Canada's introduction of their MCM-70 microcomputer at the Programmers Users Conference in Toronto that is now known as the very first personal computer, possibly the earliest commercially manufactured device that can be considered a personal computer. The MCM-70 gained customers at the companies such as Chevron, Mutual Life Insurance, NASA, and the U.S. Army. The company worked closely with Intel on the design of their computer and made the very first use of the Intel 8008 processor, which was the basic design is used for the future of the Intel's 8086. However, failing to generate venture capital in the Canadian marketplace, the MCM-70 was never significantly accepted in the market. And by the time the Apple II and other personal computers were being released, the MCM-70 was no longer a viable device.
They got Betamaxed.
Yep, that's kind of what happened. They had a great, they probably should have come down to the United States just as a venture capitalist expert instead of staying in that Canadian marketplace in Toronto. I bet you would have done a little bit better in the area, but you never know.
Who knows?
But now there you go. All right, well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to see some Tech Time history with over 2 years of video podcasts and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have the Marc's Whiskey Mumble, our technology fail, Mike's mesmerizing moment, and a Nathan Nugget. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TECHTIME. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Tell us all about what we got. What's our crazy day of the day today? I mean, there's always something.
This is my favorite part of the show. Not you guys talking.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
That's okay.
So
I'm not a big fan of
the whiskey segment. Oh wow. Okay. Play nice here now. Come on, everybody.
Well, what are we drinking today?
We're drinking Old Forrester.
Old Forrester. So today is Lumberjack Day.
Oh.
Lumberjack Day.
I just suddenly got a flashback of Saturday Night Live.
Okay. What is
or is it?
What is Lumberjack Day?
No, it wasn't.
What are you doing? Like, isn't that Mad?
It's Monty Python. So
Oh,
is it
yeah.
Monty Python. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Is that Saturday Night Live or Monty Python?
It must be Monty Python. I don't know what you're even talking about. But okay,
well,
continue
okay.
on. Okay, all right.
I have a lot of weird.
It's
things going on
Lumberjack
in my
Day. Okay,
brain.
we're excited. So that means I get to go out and chop down a cherry tree?
No, it's even crazier than that.
Okay.
So it was created in 2005 by two people as an excuse to eat pancakes and waffles with friends.
Oh, okay.
So Lumberjack Day is also celebrated because International Talk Like a Pirate Day comes a week before it.
Of course.
And they wanted to celebrate a different character. They thought it was important to have a day to talk about lumberjacks as well as pirates.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure how that.
I wonder if these
follows.
people created. We should just sit down on a calendar and just create days ourselves.
How to talk like a hangsman or something. I don't know.
Hey there, be careful of the tree that's falling down.
No, you need to stop. Okay. You can't do those.
Okay, let others talk about lumberjacks.
Okay.
We'll delve into the Old Forrester 100 proof signature bottle.
All right.
Now, Old Forrester 100 proof signature does not actually say signature anywhere on its bottle. It gets its name in honor of the legacy of founder George Galvin Brown, which features his signature on every bottle. Besides being the first bourbon sold exclusively in sealed bottles, Old Forrester is the longest-running bourbon brand on the market. The brand is also noted as one of the few whiskeys that was allowed to be sold during Prohibition for medical purposes. It even features that on the label of the bottle.
What medical purposes
Well, of
is
course,
this?
I would put that on my resume.
to make you feel better.
Okay, all right, okay.
I was Prohibition.
Now, Old Forrester has many different bourbons under its brand, as we all know. We've had many of them on this show before. But this old workhorse tends to be overlooked and forgotten. It is caramel forward with hints of light chocolate, finishing with traditional cherry notes. It finishes with honey-flavored oak and a touch of tobacco. At least that's what I got out of it last night when I retasted it again. Now, if you're getting into whiskey or looking to move to a bit of a higher proof than the 80 to 90 range, as usually the entry whiskey people are, this is a recommendation from me. If you're an experienced whiskey drinker and already like the high proof whiskeys, this makes a good whiskey mixer.
Oh, really? Okay. The mix, I actually kind of like the taste, though, itself.
Yeah, for beginning whiskey people,
like
perfect drinking neat. For anybody more experienced, it's not really.
Maybe I should start off my new collection of whiskeys with this one.
Yeah, so now you can have a whole bunch of them, can't you? You got a whole wall.
I have to start over. So.
All right.
Might as well start something I like.
Start with the Forrester.
Start with something I like.
Hey, for $26,
that's pretty good.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty
sounds good.
All right, Mark, thanks for that, Mumble.
Take this bottle home.
As always, whiskey and technology. What a great pairing. Kind of like the pairing of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in a movie, right, Mike?
Serious, really?
All right, now let's get ready for our Technology Fail of the Week, brought to you by Elite Executive Service, technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
This is your Nugget.
Uh-oh.
This is...
No, that's the Nathan Nugget.
I think that's the technology fail.
Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, where is Odie? All right.
That was a technology fail right there.
Yeah, that's the tech fail right there.
All right, we're gonna go and talk about, though, the Federal Trade Commission, as it is now accusing Amazon, the internet giant, of protecting online retail monopoly and forcing higher prices into consumers. I had too much whiskey that last year.
You had something.
All right, in 2 years since Andy Jassy replaced Jeff Bezos as the Amazon chief executive, he's been cleaning up his mess, essentially going through and getting rid of people that were actively hired during the pandemic expansion, realigning essentially the warehouse growth, and has laid off thousands of employees that have served on Mr. Bezos' pet projects. The government claimed Amazon used unfair tactics, though, before him to monopolize online shopping in a way that raises prices and hurts the quality for consumers. The suit forced on part of the business that took off just before Jassy gained control over the retail division. Amazon declined to comment on Mr. Jassy, but the company said the FTC's case was without merit and would harm customers by creating higher prices, slower deliveries, and reduced options for small businesses.
Yeah.
That sounds like great lawyer speak there. Okay.
That's like, come after me, I'm going to punish everybody else.
Yeah, the FTC's lawsuit However, it does not cover any of the services offered by the AWS cloud service that the United States government runs on. Instead, it is focusing on the business built by the other executives who oversaw the core of Amazon's retail business, several of whom have left the company in recent years. Mr. Jassy is holding essentially the company's responsibility, even though he was not there.
And here you were PO'd about the whole I'm going to have another Amazon
big deal day.
Oh,
that's stupid, though. Come on now. That's
I don't understand that. You're like Mr. Cheapo. I think you would be like, oh, yeah, that's another day where I can be like, yeah, I'm going to get it.
Well, speaking of cheapo, we're going to have that in the Nathan Nugget. But now let's go to our Mike's Mesmerizing Moment. This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com. All right, Mike, here is the question I'm going to ask you. Mm-hmm. Essentially, would you ever put a microchip in your brain? And is there too much technology today for humans to handle?
Okay, so, you just have this awful way of asking very complicated questions.
Yeah.
Would I put a microchip in my brain? Well, I don't need to. Okay, now if we're talking about what Neuralink is doing as part of its medical devices, I think that's great. I think when we can use technology to improve the lives of people, and not in a way that would be like really crazy, like we were talking about earlier. I don't think we need to have technology implanted in our brain so that I can walk into my house and flick on the TV with just a thought.
Okay.
But we all know that's coming. That's going to be here.
Yes, that will be the next evolution of this, right?
Is technology too much for humans? I think in a general sense, yes.
Okay.
Because humans are always humans, and they're always going to be humans. And so we have proven over and over and over again that responsibility of these technological advances are not always productive.
We push the
We're
envelope.
Always pushing it, despite
even if it's worth our life,
despite warnings.
Yep.
So the overproduction or the producing the progression of technology always overcomes the cautionary way that we should be moving forward.
Okay.
And this is the kernel of every one of these sci-fi movies that we talk about.
Yep.
We use these media to show what can happen with the irresponsibility of technology, and we constantly fail to heed warnings, and we move ahead and we push it, and we never really accept any responsibility until something happens.
Okay.
So like Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
that's a great example of how we push technology to its furthest, and it comes back and gets us.
It always gets us.
And nobody's like, I don't understand what happened.
All right. Do you like saving money?
I like saving money?
Yeah, let's go to the Nathan Nugget right now.
This is your
this is all me.
of the week.
Yeah, this is all me. So
you're going to save me money now?
Well, let me just tell you this. Have you ever wanted to buy a brand new video card and thought it'd be great if you could sell that old video card that you had that was still expensive when you bought it because somebody else could use it? Well, a company, Newegg, sorry, not Egghead. Egghead was a part of the local company used to be in business. Newegg is essentially given the opportunity for you to change your video card and transfer your old video card for credit into them, much like you would consider a cell phone company where you can take your old cell phone and put it in. Now, Newegg essentially has the opportunity for them to buy back your video card.
Is it going to be like a used car situation?
Well, essentially what happens is that when you say that you have a new video card you want to buy, you can say you can do a trade. They will essentially send you a box that you ship your older video card back in once you receive the new video card, and they will have their experts take a look at it. And if it's the card and it works as you say it does, then they'll give you that credit back off the purchase of a new video card.
That's exactly like the used car industry. So
well,
I want to trade in my car. Oh, yeah, we're going to give you a lot of money. What's this ding over here?
Well, you know what used to happen is back in the olden days when you had 286s and 386s, when you bought yourself a new computer, you normally sell that other computer as it is to somebody else, and they pay a pretty large premium price. And now you have the ability to do this with your video cards again.
I once traded a card for a computer.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I traded. I won't even talk about it. My in-laws did something.
You'll get in trouble.
All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now the credit ranges from $30 to $561. Visit newegg.com to find out more about this available offer that's going on now.
Will they buy smoke infused?
No. They probably know. Smoke infused video cards probably don't work. All right. Now let's move to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, Mark, what are we sipping again?
Old Forrester 100 proof, the signature bottle.
All right. What do you think? I gave it a thumbs up.
I give it a thumbs up. It's a nice taste. It's got a good taste to it, and I can definitely taste the apple afterward.
All right, Nathan behind the board, what did you think of it?
Easy thumbs up for the price point.
Okay. See, look at the way
he's going to go with the Nathan. That's the Nathan Nugget.
That's the Nathan Nugget, the price point. And Mark, is this on your shelf?
No.
You would never have this on your shelf, would you?
Not on the shelf. I'd throw it in the cabinet as a mixer, like I said, but it's not a sipper for me. I got plenty of other
sippers you'd have.
Sippers, yeah.
All right, Mike, we're about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program.
What did you give it?
I gave it a thumbs up. I said absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Listeners, we want to hear from you. You can always visit techtimeradio.com, click on Be a Caller, ask us questions in the top right-hand corner. Mike, you know what? We are going to leave with the most important aspects of the show. The science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.